100,000. It's not even believable. And about 6 million jobs. And so it was a sick patient that went through an operation on Liberation Day. And it's going to be a booming country, a very booming country. It's going to be amazing, actually.
We tried to tell you. Y'all have seen the shirts that we've been selling. Pull the graphic up. Hashtag we tried to tell you. FAFO 2025. You know, you got Project 2025, but with Donald Trump sitting in the Oval Office, it's FAFO 2025. Well, what did Vice President Kamala Harris tell you? The man was going to screw up the United States economy with his tariffs. That's exactly what he has done. He announced the other day, which he called Liberation Day, massive tariffs against a number of different countries, including many United States allies. He has been constantly attacking Canada, calling them the 51st state, dismissing them, treating them like a stepchild. And Canada said, enough is enough. Well, guess what? The U.S. Senate passed a bill to undo Donald Trump's tariffs on Canadian goods. And of course, they make it clear that that's not how you treat a partner. But when you have the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon in chief, who's also a con man, leading the charge, well, this is what happens. Joining us right now is the senator from Virginia who sponsored that bill, Tim Kaine. Glad to have you back on the show.
Great to be with you, Roland. Thanks.
All of these people, and it pains me as well, all of these people, oh, we need a businessman back in the office. Oh, we need a businessman. Sure, it'd be great to have a businessman back in office. But I remember when we also had the first elected president to hold the MBA, George W. Bush. What do those two have in common? They both tanked the economy. And what he is doing here, stock market, CEOs are saying, what the hell are you doing? Ford announced laying off 900 workers. These tariffs are wrecking the economy, an economy that Biden-Harris handed him that was in good shape.
Okay, the tariffs have not taken effect yet. They have not taken effect. This is still, at this point, it's still Joe Biden's economy. Let's not, the tariffs have not taken effect. So here's how the tariff works. The purpose of the tariff is if you are bringing in goods to the United States, you're going to be charged. Which in the past, that hasn't been the case. And here's how that matriculates throughout, like, to me and you. And here's how it goes, right? So they're going to charge businesses to bring in goods to the United States, which at the end of the road for me and you is going to cost more money. Yes, it's going to cost more money for me and you, right? So what happens is, what am I going to do? What are you going to do? I am not going to buy that. Or I am going to buy less of that because it costs more money. Now, the tariff end goal is if you build it in the United States, there's no tariff. Zero. What does that mean for me and you? Jobs. If you're going to build it here, as opposed to having the parts all over there, and then when you send the parts here, we assemble it. No. Donald Trump wants to build the parts here. So when you send these parts to the United States, that's going to cost you. All he's trying to do is, no, don't send the parts. From there, build the parts here, which is what we used to do. an entire, let's take the auto industry for example. The entire vehicle was built here. It was not assembled here, which today most vehicles in the United States are just assembled here. Now, when they say made in the USA, I mean, I don't know what percentage or, what they want to put on that, but that's the end goal of Donald Trump. If you build it here, no tariffs. That's it. I mean, like, the United States consumes. The United States is the biggest consumer on the earth. We consume everybody else's shit. Everything. Everything. We get fruit from this place and car parts from this place and cotton from this place and Vietnam. It's like I was looking at Donald Trump's presentation. It was one of these countries. Was it, I want like Cambodia or some shit like that? They charge us 97% in tariff. Cambodia, you should be so lucky to even get $1 from the United States because we consume. The United States are the biggest consumers. And even with Donald Trump's tariffs, he's not killing them. Like, our tariffs that he's charging them, they're coming from zero. And the presentation, when I looked at it, he's only charging them like half. He's only charging them 50%. So prices of goods and services, they're probably gonna go up. But you know what that means? That means is that when the price go up, I'm not buying it. No, I am not buying it. On the other hand, when I'm not buying, you know what? You're not buying. Your neighbor's not buying. Your neighbor's not buying. Your cousin's not buying. Your auntie is not buying. You know what happens when that happens? That means demand goes down. Right? So that means either you're going to build your products here. If you build your products in the United States, the tariff is 0. See this right here? I'm trying to make it's 0. It's nothing. Bring it over here, build it. It's simple. Because it used to be that way. Now you're gonna pay, as an example of China, you're gonna pay a higher wage to build it here. But would you want to have it pay a higher wage, or would you want to like have American people buy nothing? So that's why the tariffs in the short term, price is gonna be higher. It's gonna hurt. Yeah. But you know what? You have a choice. You don't have to buy the higher prices. Nope. You don't have to. But in the long term, bring the shit here, build it here, more jobs. It brings the demand down, which means lower prices. So you got clowns like this, like Roland Martin, and the Democrats just all flipping out and fucking panicking and doing all the shit. But you know what? That's what we expect from them.
Rebounding from COVID.
Roland, President Trump inherited the strongest economy in the world when he was inaugurated in January. We were beating every other nation, not perfect, but manufacturing up, unemployment down, more people with health insurance than ever.
Hold on. Something that I failed to mention was when the companies are less profitable, that means the stock market's going to go down. The stock market has no bearing on everyday life. I know a lot of our retirements and our pensions are based in the stock market, but again, it's a short-term thing. So we definitely have to keep that in mind.
Before infrastructure being built, Donald Trump in 2 months with his chainsaw has left rubble, and it's getting worse. Consumer confidence down, stock market volatile, inflation up. Some Fed regions predicting not just a slower growth rate, but even a negative growth rate and recession. And he's doing it by indiscriminate and mass firings of people that hurt the economy, and this ridiculous focus on imposing the largest tax in the history of the peacetime United States, this national sales taxes, which is what tariffs do, for the most idiotic reasons and with no real economic justification other than I'm going to take the tariff revenue I collect and use it to fund a tax break for the wealthiest.
I really do think the people who work for him are absolutely in a cult.
What this senator just said is just not true. So Democrats say tax cut for the wealthiest. How do you even do that? No, this is it's like a serious question. Like, how do you even do such a thing? If you have a tax cut, the tax cut is just a tax cut. Unless you put parameters on it that says if you make above, look, we're gonna go with the Democrats' theory, right? So they say tax cuts for the wealthy. Let's, whatever number we're gonna put on the wealthy, let's put, if you make $500,000 a year, we'll say that's the wealthy. If you do tax cuts and you put the number at $500,000, so if you make $500,000 or above, you get this percentage of cut. Like, that don't even make sense. That does not make sense if you're talking about our economy, right? So our economy is based on the 99% of people that make less than that. Tax cuts on the wealthy that these Democrats always say, it don't make sense. It just don't make sense. I don't know how many times I need to say it, but let these clowns continue to talk. And he talking about a cult, Roland Martin. Man, I want to say some disparaging things about Roland Martin. Fat ass, balding fat butt. You know what? Let's go.
And the reason I have to say that, and I say that because I'm going to play the video in a second. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins was on Fox Business touting the amazing leadership of Donald Trump while they are showing the stock market down 1,400 points.
And that's going to happen.
What world are these people in?
Well, Roland, you've asked it, and I don't have a good answer for you. They are cultists. Donald Trump talks about the golden age. I think it's like almost the golden years. This guy, especially on the economy, this quote businessman is wrecking the economy, and he's doing.
The stock market is gonna be down. Yes, the stock market is going to be down in the short term. Yes, it is. That's going to affect our retirement. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. It's going to be down in the short term. But the stock market is not an indicator of the greater economy. You know it in your own personal life. I know it in my life. I have stocks and things of that nature. They're long-term investments. Long-term investments. You want to take your money out of the stock market right now? Okay, fine. Go ahead, dummy. Dummy. Because I've seen the stocks that I have, they're down. But you know what is up? Everything that has to do with my everyday life. If I chose to go get a job at a plant, manufacturing, something like that. If I chose to delve into AI and get a job in that field or something like that, yeah, that's up. And you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna continue to go up. Stock market is not an indicator of the overall economy. It's not.
Doing it for, using discredited theories. When the Republicans did tariffs under the Hoover administration, it just prolonged the Great Depression. They never work when they're done like this. There is a place for tariffs strategically applied against a nation that has put up artificial barriers against your own products. In that circumstance, tariffs can work maybe ultimately to lower tariffs everywhere. But using this bizarre mathematical formula they came up with and saying that they're imposing reciprocal tariffs against uninhabited islands and places around the world that hardly have people, much less products that are exported. I mean, I expect to see Legoland and Bikini Bottom on the next list of places that tariffs are going to be imposed. But you're right. Many of my colleagues, we had this vote last night, and we did get 4 Republican votes to overturn President Trump's Canadian tariffs. We still have to get this through the House. But I had many more Republicans tell me, you're right, we should be voting with you. We want to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's still early in his term. But last night was the first time any Republicans would stand up and cast a vote against Donald Trump in this term. And we just have to keep forcing them over and over again to cast votes of this kind. Do you accept these policies or do you disown them? It was good to see some of that muscle start to be exercised last night.
Senator, I don't understand your Republican colleagues. Oh, you're right. Well, we'll see. I mean, when are they going to get a backbone? They have constituents who are getting screwed. And it's like, oh, well, whatever the emperor wants, we're going to go ahead and do. They have no courage. They have no conviction. These folks are always talking about being tough. How about you start with the idiot at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Well, Roland, you asked a good question. When are they going to have a backbone? I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. We have a 2-week Senate recess that comes up around Easter, the week before and the week after Easter. And everybody's going to be back home hearing a whole lot. Just like I traveled around Virginia, I guess 2 weeks back, my small businesses, my farms, my universities, my health clinics, my food banks, I'm hearing from everybody. And I have a feeling this maximum strength tariff regime that he announced yesterday, people are going to hear about it very, very loudly when they're home. And then you may see more because look, we're going to challenge the tariffs he announced yesterday. We're moving ahead on the Canadian challenge, but the tariffs he announced yesterday, we're going to challenge them too. And we'll likely have a vote on that. We'll be guaranteed a vote on it. It will likely happen shortly after we get back from this recess. And by then, the effects will be felt and my colleagues will have heard from their constituents. And then we'll see, are they willing to show backbone or not?
Explain to people who don't quite understand how it works, how Congress is trying to take this back, because Congress gave a president, and just understand, I don't call
Yes.
him, I don't use the word president related to him because he has no respect for the office. So I'm speaking in general. Congress gave the office of the president the power, but Congress also has the power to say, nope, disagree. We can pass a bill and stop you from doing that.
Yes, Roland, I'm glad to. And you're right. There's sort of two ways to look at this. The Constitution clearly gives Congress the power to deal with trade, not the president. But Congresses of both parties, and this now goes back to right after World War II, started to delegate some powers to the president on trade issues, that the president can do X or Y. The tariffs that the president have imposed against Canada and now yesterday against the world are under a statute that has nothing to do with tariffs. It just says under dire national emergencies, a president can declare an emergency and take certain actions, but those actions can be challenged even by one member standing up and saying, wait a minute, I challenge your emergency. This is a law called IEPA. It's like the international.
So their goal is just to oppose whatever the president does. Whatever Donald Trump chooses to do, that's what the Democrats will oppose. And you know why? Because they're the party of Satan. In your mind, does it let things happen? We'll put this here and this here and this here and this here, and then the market will determine what happened. No. Democrats want to rig the market, and they have demonstrated that time and time again. They rig their primaries. They rig their elections. This is what they do. Because if you tell me Joe Biden got 81 million votes, which is more than Barack Obama, all right. I mean, you can tell me that. If you tell me Bernie Sanders, back in the day, he was nominated to run, but the Democrats said, no. Hillary is going to be the one that's going to run. What? But what? And y'all continue to vote Democrat. Okay, all right. So, you mean to tell me Joe Biden, it has dementia? Obviously, visually, we can see it. We've seen it for a long time. So, you're not going to have a primary to see if there's some other candidates. You're not going to do that, right? No, you're just going to appoint Kamala. That's what you're going to do? Democrats? That's just what they did? Because Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi and these type of people, they just said, no. It's going to be Kamala. You know why? Because there was $75 million behind Joe Biden. And the only person that could take advantage of that was Kamala Harris. That's why they put her there. She was not elected. She never been elected. Maybe when she was in San Francisco or something like that, she might have been elected. But we're talking about present day and not too distant past. She was not elected, right? And because she's not capable, she can't even put a sentence together. Now, it speaks more on a large scale of the Democratic Party. Y'all don't see how evil these people are, but black folks in particular, y'all continue to vote for these evil ass. Ooh, I was about to curse. I gotta tone down my cursing. I gotta do it. But I want to say so many things about this Democratic Party. Can y'all just open your eyes just to see what this Democratic Party is about? It's Satan. It's the devil. It's all of the evil parts of the Bible that God and Jesus has told us about. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing in real time. Oh my gosh. It's just, I just want people to see these things. Okay, let's go here, right? So, if we disagree, I value that. Let's disagree. Let's have a conversation. And if you can change my mind, I'm open to that. I am open to that. But some shit that I see this shit as well as you do. We see it, right? So, I don't know. I'm going to be done with this because I'm going to go on for the next 5 hours. I've gone on long enough. So, if you're on Facebook, like this video, comment on this video, share this video, go over to YouTube, Mr. Info 5000. Peace.